Today's video is going to be explaining about the rationale behind the name of my channel, Rage Against the Greige. Do you know that poem by Dylan Thomas called "Do Not Go Gentle into That Dark Night"? Now, the first three lines are, "Do not go gentle into that dark night. Old age should burn and rave at the close of day. Rage, rage at the dying of the light." Now, I did think about going all Michael Sheen or Richard Burton on you there, but I thought I'd spare you that. And anyway, I can't do the accent, even after 22 years in Cardiff. So then I coupled that sentiment with the sentiment of another poem written by a woman called Jenny Joseph. She was about 28 when she wrote this, and it's all about how she sees herself in old age. It's called Warning because that's exactly what it is. It's a warning to her friends and family about what she's going to be like when she's older. I mean, it's a fun read if of its time, which was 1961. In the first couple of lines, she states that she's going to wear purple and wear purple with a red hat that doesn't match. And then she goes on to list another whole load of unseemly behaviours that would probably have been frowned upon in 1961 and in a lot of cases would still be frowned upon today from, well, older people, but frankly, any age. If you read the Jenny Joseph poem, I mean, there's no way I'd be doing half of what she said she was going to be doing when she was older. I wonder if she got up to any of them. I'd love to know. I mean, they're all quite small, everyday rebellions. I mean, she's not suggesting turning to armed robbery or anything like that. But when she wrote this back in 1961, older people not only looked, they behaved quite differently, maybe, to how we do today. Expectations were completely different to expectations of older people now. I mean, society was a lot more judgmental of women back then. We were only just entering the swinging 60s, and I think maybe all these unspoken taboos around what was acceptable in women's behaviour, especially older women, sort of kept women in maybe places that they didn't necessarily want to be. They were sort of frightened to break out of them because breaking those taboos could result in lots of gossip and even reputational damage. So it kept them in their box, as it were. Not to mention, of course, that most of them were, if they were married, most of them were financially dependent on their husbands. So I'm sure these are the women that Jenny Joseph saw and thought to herself, it's not going to be me. Well, it's not going to be me either. So even if this move abroad turns out to be a complete disaster and I have to come home with my tail between my legs, this is me raging against the dying of the light. It's me figuratively wearing purple with a red hat that doesn't match. I'm not just going to sit around in Cardiff for the next 25 years waiting to die. Now, don't get me wrong, I love a Kelly Hoppen interior design colour scheme as much as the next woman. White, beige, cream, camel, light grey, charcoal, hints of charcoal. I mean, what's not to like? But I do not want the final third of my life to be defined by the colour grayge. This time now is about me reclaiming my identity and getting back to who I was before motherhood. The thing is, I had a huge loss of identity when I had my son. Apart from my years spent in Tokyo, I'd spent 20 years in London, progressing my career, working in various marketing and PR roles in companies and in agencies. And by the time I left, I had my own small marketing business with one of my best friends. So I arrive in Cardiff, I'm almost 42, I'm living with my parents. My dad is in the early stages of Alzheimer's and he's going through a really mean phase that some sufferers go through. I have no friends. I don't know the city. My brother and sister are here, but that's all. and I have a 1-month-old baby. Better not forget that. And I just literally did not know myself. I mean, compared to my life just 12 months previously, when I was, planning on Christmas parties and all the rest of it, I mean, I was like, who the hell are you? Now, this one, seemingly completely insignificant incident really stands out in my mind because it kind of encapsulates everything about this feeling of loss of identity that I was feeling at the time. Um, my mum and I had taken my son out down to Cardiff Bay, and he was in his pram. And it was dry for a change, but it was one of those really, Cardiff grey days. And it was winter, so, but it was not like a bright, sunny winter's day or anything like that. It was miserable. It was dark. It was grey. It was horrible. And I was a complete wreck. I mean, I'd washed my hair, but I guarantee I hadn't blow dried it because that's kind of standard for new mothers. Just to stop yourself smelling, you do the bare minimum, but no time for blow dries. Yeah, and I had no makeup on, obviously, and I was wearing a pair of jogging bottoms. Well, I don't think I'd actually even owned a pair of jogging bottoms before I had James. And I was wearing trainers. Now, I did own trainers before, but you wouldn't have caught me, you wouldn't have caught me dead in trainers going out and about. I mean, they were strictly for the gym, and I was strictly a heels girl. Anyway, we're walking through the bay and we come across this wine bar, and it's got this huge glass frontage, and all the lights were on and you could see straight in. And there was all the office types all in their suits, and all the women in their kind of skirt suits or smart dresses. And I just looked through that window and I thought, that was me. And I just burst into tears. And my mum's going, what's the matter? What's the matter? And I couldn't answer because I couldn't speak because I was just sobbing so hard. I mean, I just was at a loss to explain what had happened to me, and the sense of like loss in that moment of my past identity, and the sort of thinking about what have I become was so, I don't know what the word is. It was just, so strong in that moment. And I literally thought, I don't know what's going to become of me. Well, what became of me was that for the next 20 years, well, I mean, obviously I'm still a mother, but for the next 20 years, I was, or almost 20 years, I was sort of actively engaged in active motherhood. Um, let's face it, when you are a parent, I mean, your life does mainly revolve around your children. That's just the way it goes. And as a single parent, even more so, because you haven't got anyone to say, oh, I'm going out with the girls tonight, so you'll have to do the baths and cook dinner because I'm off. It's my night. I'm having a night off. Now my mum was great, but I didn't want to put too much on her because obviously she's dealing with my dad, and I felt guilty if I asked too much of her. So it was really full on for the next 20 years. Now, don't get me wrong, I loved loads of it, but it was hard work. And I mean, there was a period of time in our lives when my son was training or playing football 6 days a week. So I literally had Wednesday night off. The rest of the time, every evening after school, he was either playing or training, mostly training during the week. But then Saturdays and Sundays, he was playing football. I mean, I can't count the hours that I spent sat in my car in the dark in some car park, listening to the rain hammer down on the roof of the car, while I was either scrolling on my phone or reading a book by torchlight. Another thing was that I was permanently exhausted. I just thought it was because I was 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47. And I, had a baby and then a toddler and then a young boy to keep up with. What I didn't realise was that I had a undiagnosed, severely underactive thyroid. So throwing that into the mix wasn't any help as to my mental state and how I felt. And At no point with all the sort of medical appointments you have did any medical professional ever ask me, why are you putting on all this weight? I mean, I was asking myself that, and I was so depressed, I'll just go and have another slice of cake. But yeah, no one actually ever said to me, why are you putting on all this weight? And I really did pile on the weight, which again made me feel awful about myself. Yeah, and that again made me not want to really go out very much or socialize with people. And I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed to be so big. Anyway, that's all done with now. So after the last 3 years of sitting round, feeling a bit sorry for myself since my mum died, and waiting to see if James needs to come home, providing a bit of a safety net for him, I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm taking my life off pause and I'm pressing the play button. It's time for me to reclaim my life and reclaim my identity and see what the future holds for me. Now, I don't want to disgrage completely. As a colour palette, it's calming, it's peaceful, it's tasteful. But I think for your life, grayge can become a bit of a mindset. And that's definitely where I've been for the past 3 years. But now it's time for a change. I want some colour in my life. I want some adventure. I want some discovery. I want a bit of a challenge. So I'm choosing possibility over habit. I'm choosing living over existing. I'm choosing growing over stagnating. And I'm choosing engaging with the world instead of remaining insular and invisible in my own little greyish cocoon. I'm not interested in pretending that I'm 35 anymore. What I am interested in is being the healthiest, the strongest, the most confident, the most interesting version of myself at 64 that I can be and beyond. So I hope that's given you some context as to why I named this channel Rage Against the Greige. And I hope you get some inspiration from it if you feel that you're living in your own little greyish cocoon right now, and maybe you'd like to come along with me on this journey. I'm sure we're not the only ones. So if you are interested, if you've enjoyed this video and like the sound of what this channel is all about, it would be great if you would subscribe. If it doesn't really resonate with you right now, then if you enjoyed the video, then I would still appreciate it if you just drop me a quick like, as it does help me and the channel as a brand new creator. I'm competing, yes, some really big fish. So yeah, and oh yeah, what's the other thing? Oh, that's right. So oh yeah, and if this is your first video, this is the first video of mine you see. If you want to check out my first video, there's only 3 of them, so they're not hard to find. There will be a link. I'm pointing like this. My finger's going. It's funny when you're looking in the camera. There'll be a link here. I'm looking at this white space and I think, yeah, I'll probably fit it in there. So there'll be a link there to my first video, which gives a bit more background to my thought process and how I've kind of up at this pivotal moment, this life-defining moment. Well, let's hope so. Anyway, thank you again for being here, and hopefully I will see you on the next one. Bye.